Good morning everyone. This is Kailin Kamikawa. The reason why South Korea had a strong opposition to Japan's radiation problem last time was as a political card for strengthening Japan's export control in July 2019. The cause is that the issue of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant has begun to be taken up by the international community. I said, but there seems to be other reasons as well. There is a theory that it reflects the recent, extremely strong health consciousness of Koreans. After the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake, Japanese products contain radioactivity. Such a hoax was whispered in Korea. At this time, the effect extends not only to foods but also to cosmetics. Japanese products have become a trend that Koreans can avoid. It is said that these are caused by the strong stickiness of Koreans to their health. The Fukushima treated water problem is directly linked to anti-Japanese sentiment and this health problem. It is thought that there is a bigger fuss in Korea now than we Japanese think. When it comes to health, the next target is health-related. Maybe it will cause unspoken slander against Japanese food. Should be considered. In Korea, which is such a health lover, it is now gaining hot popularity. It is said to be natto, which can be said to be the representative of Japanese food. With this traditional Japanese food, natto, the risk of trying to despise Japan is not zero. For example, let's despise Japan by robbing Japan of this natto. It is no wonder that you plan to do so. As evidence of this, in recent years, Korean manufacturers have been researching and developing natto that Korean taste. Natto, a domestic food manufacturer, was launched in South Korea in 2005. The next year, the market size in 2006 was about 2.5 billion won, 245 million yen. Last year, it was about 25 billion won, 2.45 billion yen, which has increased tenfold in the last 10 years. Manufactured and sold natto for the first time in Korea, a food maker that has launched a number of hit products to the market. It is a company called Pallumone. Natto can be eaten easily even in Korea, so you can continue without difficulty. While there is a natto fan, Korean housewife in her 40s, for 10 years, some people say, I don't like that sticky texture of natto, Korean female office worker in her 20s. Of course, there are some people who feel resistance to the appearance. Pulling a thread is absolutely useless for the purpose of seeing it. Some people still have resistance. However, the day when natto will become established on the Korean table as a healthy daily food will soon come. However, if that happens, there is a risk that even if you regret it, you will not be able to regret it. It is a terrifying situation in which natto dominates the world as Korean food. I will explain step by step. First of all, Japanese food is booming due to the growing global health consciousness. No one would argue that fermented foods are becoming more popular. According to the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, the number of Japanese restaurants overseas was 24,000 in 2006. The number increased rapidly to 55,000 in 2013 and 118,000 in 2017. Along with this, exports of soy sauce and miso are also increasing. According to Tokyo Customs, last year's exports of soy sauce and miso reached record highs in both quantity and value. It is said that soy sauce was exported to 70 countries and miso was exported to 53 countries. No, miso and soy sauce are accepted by foreigners, but natto with a strong smell is unpleasant. All the foreigners around me said it was unpleasant. Quote. Of course, some people will argue, but such a negative image is also it is changing little by little because it is attracting attention as a superfood. For example, in the United States, NYRTURE New York Natto, Ann Yanatani, a Japanese American, has established a natto maker. We are working with the mission of spreading natto, which has a high health effect, to the world. Also, at specialty stores that handle natural foods in the United States, natto, exported from Japan is lined up, and the product lineup is expanding. In fact, according to the Ministry of Finance's trade statistics, according to the 17-year export destination of natto, suppressing about 226 tons, about 104 million yen, in South Korea and about 214 tons, about 109 million yen, in China, the United States has the largest amount at about 694 tons, about 364 million yen. Of course, it has not yet penetrated to the general public. For people who are conscious of their health, natto is steadily gaining citizenship. In fact, the supermodel Miranda Kerr, she has been appointed to TV commercials as Maruccome's fermented food ambassador since 2016. This wasn't forcibly pulled by Japan money. This is because Miranda herself loved miso soup. She is good for her health and beauty. Among celebrities like her, miso is a quiet boom. That means that natto, which has become known to those who know it as a superfood, it doesn't matter when it catches fire. Then, Japanese natto, with such great potential, why is there a risk of sweeping the world as Korean food? It is because natto, manufactured by Korea's leading giant food maker, has been in production for just 3 years. This is because the market is growing rapidly to triple the size. The Korean food company called Polmuone, mentioned above, established a corporation in the United States in 1991, and since then has established corporations in China and Japan. We have established our position as the world's #1 tofu company and continue to grow as a global company. This global food company that represents Korea, we have been manufacturing natto for 13 years, and the market has grown so much. And the company's US subsidiary, Polmuone USA, not only does it have 4 factories in the United States, it also has a strong network. In 2004, Wildwood, a processed soybean food company; in 2009, the refrigerated food company Monterey Gourmet Foods has succeeded in entering the mainstream market by acquiring in 2011, at the Natural Market, an American luxury health food channel. It has reached the top of the premium tofu market share. In 2016, we acquired Vitasoy's tofu business rights, and securing strong brand power and a sales distribution network of about 20,000 locations, as the #1 company in the American tofu market, we have made a leap forward. If the natto boom occurs now, centered on Western celebrities including the United States, Polmuone is expected to take advantage of its network to attack the market. No, Japanese natto is better than Korean natto. I think there are some people who say, I can't deal with fake things, but unfortunately for the majority of Americans, even if you are told that it is Japanese natto, and you are given Polmuone natto, I don't know the difference. The reason why I can say that is it is a Japanese restaurant run by Koreans, that floods overseas. I think there are many people who have traveled abroad and actually saw them, although he calls himself a Japanese restaurant. In fact, there are many cases where Chinese and Koreans run the business. Not only do you serve Japanese food that you don't understand, but it is sending out a clearly strange Japanese culture. An easy-to-understand example is Dokdo Sushi in San Diego, California, USA. It is a Korean-owned business that is just like the character. It is not permissible not only to pollute traditional Japanese food, but also to insult Takeshima. I think some people get angry. What's even more annoying is the strange menu, such as the Olympic roll, that this store offers. There are many Americans who misunderstand that it is Japanese sushi. Also, as you know, that country there is a tendency to insist that various things in Japan are Korean origin. Actually, sushi and sashimi also originated in Korea. Some people claim that. Of course, big companies like Polmuone wouldn't be that bold now. Naturally, if natto becomes popular worldwide, there will surely be people who start to talk about it, saying, actually, it originated in Korea. Also, like a Japanese restaurant, pretending to be like a Japanese maker, some may attack the Western natural food market. At that time, even if I withered my voice saying, that's a mess. Natto is a traditional Japanese food. If you have a market share, you will end up with a howl of a losing dog. Just as fake sushi has gained citizenship overseas, there can be the worst situation where Korean natto becomes established in society. That's why before the boom I think it is necessary to make a loud claim that natto is Japanese. Not to mention, of course, if there are people in the United States who support natto, the Japanese government and industry groups should support it. After the Corona wreck, but after the Tokyo Olympics were successfully held, collecting fermented foods from all over the world such as cheese and holding the Fermentation Olympics, to appeal the charm of miso, soy sauce, natto, salted juku, pickles, etc. I think we should set up a promotion that Japan is a developed country for fermentation. Some people may laugh, I don't have to be so desperate. The other party is more hungry and greedily aiming for the position of Japanese food. For example, on June 4, 2008, in the electronic version of Jungang Ilbo, South Korean seasoning company, Tong-un FC, has reported that it will establish a branch office in the United States and start a global strategy. This was written there. Soy sauce, a traditional Korean fermented food, is recognized as a Japanese product in the world market. I want to correct this. Early on, benchmarking Japanese territories, after making a soft landing on the world market, we plan to change the tongue of people around the world. In addition, the vice president of Sempyo Foods, which is said to be a master of soy sauce in South Korea, he wanted to know the secret of Japanese soy sauce manufacturing method, so he visited the miso manufacturing site in Yamasa in 1986. Inhale as much air as possible in the Juku room where Juku is propagated. Collect spores, the seed of the fungus, in his nose and blow his nose with tissue as soon as he leaves the room. There is also a surprising episode that he studied the ingredients thoroughly after his return. Huge, Jarajaro face vomiting. Given this greed, natto is also dangerous if it is wondering. When I noticed, didn't you know? Natto is originally from Korea. You may be talking about it all over the world. The problems of comfort women, and docto, are also the same. The Japanese, after the other party made a fuss all over the world and made it an established fact, that's a fake, and don't scatter lies, are often behind the scenes. In order not to cry later, please take the initiative for natto makers. I would like you to put more effort into disseminating information to the world. Lie like exhaling, the Japanese, and people all over the world, should never forget this word. Don't be fooled by Korean lies. That's all.